Jane Austen July, bitches. Hi everyone, it's Jenny. Welcome back to my channel. Jane Austen is back where she belongs, on her shelf. Before I forget, I should say that, especially for the Jane Austen July video, I am wearing my Elizabeth and Darcy earrings and my Jane Austen necklace that I bought at the Jane Austen Museum, including this Jane Austen, because obviously I need Jane Austen on my Christmas tree. So it's Jane Austen July, if you didn't already get that announcement, and I'm very excited about it. I'm not gonna do all of the prompts necessarily, but that'll be the first part of my TBR, and then the rest will be all the random shizzle that I also want to read, because I'm not solely dedicating my month to Jane Austen, even though it sounds fun, but there's lots of other things I want to read. But it is a month-long readathon that is hosted by Marissa from Bookish and Katie from Books and Things. I'll link the channels down below, and they have, I think, 6 prompts, but like I said, I'm not doing all of them. So the first one, obviously, the obligatory one, is that you have to read a book by Jane Austen, so one of her 6 novels. So they are doing group read-alongs of Sense and Sensibility in the first half of the month and Northanger Abbey in the second half of the month, so that's exciting. So I'm going to join with both of those, and because I've read them physically, I'm going to reread them through audiobook. I think Julia Stevenson's narration of them is just incredible. She's one of my favourite audiobook narrators of all time, so I'm excited to dive into that world again. Her books are so comforting. I should also say that I will link the Goodreads groups down below, because you can talk about the books as you go through the readathons or read-alongs even. Wow, this is going well, can't talk already. And you can talk about what you're going to read, if it's your TBR, and share recommendations, so that's super fun. I'm sure you already know what this is about, but if you don't, then it is about the Dashwood sisters, Marianne and Eleanor, one who is sensible and one who is more romantic. And when they are thrown into difficult financial circumstances after the death of their father, it's about them uprooting themselves from their family home and going to live in a cottage, and their romantic difficulties and ups and downs. It's just such a comforting read, I think, because it's about sisters. I love this one so much. I mean, I love all of her works. It's hard for me to rank them, but I do have a real soft spot for this as well because I adore the film. So I've been watching that. Northanger Abbey follows Catherine Morland, who is obsessed with reading Gothic literature, especially by Anne Radcliffe, so it's kind of that hybrid of romance but drama and intrigue, which has kind of coloured her vision of reality. And she's staying in fashionable Bath, where I've been to recently, so that's cool. I'm excited to read this because of that. And she's invited to Northanger Abbey by some of her friends, where some misunderstandings ensue, and it's just a really clever parody of Gothic literature, so if you've read a lot of that, I think you really enjoy this. Another one of the prompts was to read a retelling of one of Jane Austen's novels, so I'm going to read Longbourn because I got that on audiobook. It was conveniently on sale last month, so I thought, well, I'll save it for that. And that is a retelling of Pride and Prejudice from the perspective of the servants, which I think sounds like such a cool concept. I think Katie read it last Jane Austen July or last year sometime and enjoyed it, so that'll be fun to read. Then another prompt was to read a non-fiction book about Jane Austen or her time period that she lived in, and I'm reading Lucy Wellesley's Jane Austen at Home. So this was on my TBR last month, but when I saw the announcement video for Jane Austen July, I thought, well, I'll save it for then because this is just really perfect. Lucy really loves Jane Austen so much, so I'm excited to read something by a real Austen enthusiast. I might potentially reread Lady Susan because it's my favourite of her epistolary novellas, and I do want to see the film because I haven't seen the film yet, but I don't know if I'll get time. So that is a prompt I'm not sure I complete because I should have said there is a prompt to read something by Jane Austen that isn't one of her novels. That's a shorter work or her letters or something like that. So maybe I'll read Lady Susan, maybe not, who knows. But I definitely want to watch Lady Susan, and I want to watch Sense and Sensibility because you're meant to watch. Oh, I'm not very good at saying these prompts. A prompt is to watch an adaptation of Jane Austen's work, so I will definitely watch Sense and Sensibility. And then another one is to watch a contemporary retelling of Jane Austen, so I'm probably going to watch Austenland. I haven't seen that, but it looks great fun, even though it doesn't look necessarily accurate to Jane Austen. So that'll be a great time. Sorry, I absolutely murdered that. Can you tell I did not prepare? I haven't filmed for a while and I'm just so rusty. Part of me was panicking because I haven't even finished putting up my May wrap up, and I haven't done a mid-month wrap up for June, and I haven't done any wrap up for June yet, and it's July. Oh my god. And then I thought, no one cares. please calm down. So I'm just trying to be chill because my life is busy at the moment, and yeah, I don't have time to do this. Should not be my priority, so that's okay. On to the mini moderns that I picked. So once again, I didn't read one of the ones that I wanted to. Wait, where is it? There we go. So, wow, so smooth, Jenny, so smooth. So, Susan Sontag's Notes on Camp, I am going to read this month. Going to read it because I've fallen a little bit behind with my mini moderns reading. They're so short. It's a quick, easy read. I just need to get to it. I think the thing is about this, because it's essays on the concept of camp, and kind of destigmatizing it and deconstructing that idea. That's great, and it sounds like the kind of thing I want to read, but also I'm kind of like, I need to concentrate and be a certain mindset to read that, because it isn't just like a happy-go-lucky short story or anything. So yeah, I will read this month, but when I'm feeling it, you know. Then we have John Steinbeck's The Vigilante, which is some short stories by him, because I finally read Of Mice and Men. I finally read something by John Steinbeck, so that's very exciting. So I didn't want this to be the first thing I read by him. Is that weird? I just thought it would be a little bit underwhelming. Of Mice and Men seems like the place you're meant to start with Steinbeck, so I feel like I can finally read this now. And it is, yes, set in California, you know, like most of his books are. So I don't know much about a lot of these, but he's such a stalwart in American literature, or just generally in the canon, that it will be nice to read this one. And now I really enjoy Mice and Men. I have high hopes for this. I think out of the whole set of 50 Penguin mini moderns, this is the lowest rated one, which is quite interesting, and that is The Legend of the Sleepers by Danilo Keys. I don't know, he's born in Yugoslavia, this is translated, but it's 2 short stories. He's a 20th century writer. Again, I know nothing about this apart from they're kind of magical, mystical in style and theme, so it's gonna be a journey. But a lot of these, I would say, I averaged as 3-star rating, so I think that's probably why it's got quite low. A lot of them are quite similar in rating, quite close, so there's only, I think, only just the lowest rating, but I would like to read this, especially because I wanted to do a video about reading the lowest books on my TBR, but actually almost all of them are mini moderns. I think that'd be quite a boring video just to read lots of really short books, so I want to get these off my TBR so that once it's just normal, like, full-length books aren't minis, then I can actually do that video. Let me know if you actually would care, because maybe you don't care about me reading the lowest books on my rated books on my TBR. I don't know, but I think it'll be fun. And then we have the highest rated mini modern, so opposite end of the spectrum, and that is Africa's Tarnished Name by Chinua Achebe. I have his African trilogy, and I haven't read any of them, which is really shameful. Not even Things Fall Apart, which is his most famous and acclaimed. And obviously he's called the father of modern African literature. He's so renowned for bringing African literature to a white Western audience with his book Things Fall Apart, and this is a set of 4 short essays about, I suppose, reflections on the colonisation and the history and complexities of African literature and the appropriation of it. And I already said that, I don't know, but it sounds like it's going to be really challenging and fascinating to read, and hopefully will encourage me to get to his fiction. I'm hoping this will be a 5-star read actually. It's got such a high rating on Goodreads, so fingers crossed. Then I have a book that I think was a debut when it came out a few years ago, and that is Stay With Me by Ayobami Adebayo, and it is a book that has had so much universal praise. It was shortlisted for the Women's Prize 2017, and I just haven't read it yet, which is ridiculous. It is about Vajidi, or however you say that, set in 1980 Nigeria, and her unravelling marriage and desire for children, and healthy children. And I think it's about familial pressures, but also the political turmoil that's going on in that period. I just read Half of a Yellow Sun by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, that's set in 1960s Nigeria and looks at the Biafran War, so that was such an education. So it would be great to fast forward 20 years and look at what's happening then, and a different political situation and time in their history. So I think this also could be a 5-star read. I know I just did a 5-star recommendations, or no, not recommendations, 5-star predictions. Why do I always want to call it recommendations? Anyway, I didn't put this on there because I wrote a really long list of books I thought would be 5 stars, so, you know, I had to really be choosy, but I hope that this lives up to all the hype, because it's probably going to be one of those books that I'll read and think, why didn't this win? But I just think I've read the winner from that year, so who can say? But anyway, and actually I do have the audiobook of this one, so I think I'm going to get to it that way, so then I'll definitely read it, because again, it feels kind of summery with this cover, so it'd be nice to read it soon. That was a weird smile, I'm sorry. And then, speaking of 5-star predictions, I am putting up my TBR, English Animals, by Laura Kay. I don't know what I'm doing. It's just my excited to and fro dance, obviously, about reading this book. But it is about, I always forget her name, Mirka, who goes to live in a rural country house in England, and there's a strange married couple. Was it Richard and... yeah, Richard and... look at me. I've already told you about this one, I can't even remember. Richard and Sophie. I know there's taxidermy... I really cannot speak today. God, I need to not have a break as often. Even when I film regularly, I still can't talk. This is really bad. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, sorry. It's about taxidermy, and that's all I know, and a weird, like, love triangle-ish relationship going on. But I'm here for it because there's a fox in the cover. Like, isn't it beautiful? But we will see if this will be the first of my 5-star prediction that comes right or not. Here's hoping. Then I have my other non-fiction book for my TBR, which is Zammy, A New Spelling of My Name, a biomythography by Audre Lorde. This is the Feminist Orchestra's book club for July and August, so I'm going to put it on my TBR this month. Hope to get to it. If I don't, it's not the end of the world. Always got next month. So this is, I know it's called a biomythography, but it's really, it's like a autobiographical novel of her life. I've read 2 of her essays in this. Is it 2 or is it 3? I can't remember. Oh, it's a lot more than that. I'm sorry, it's like 5. But I read this collection of essays, and I feel like I need to reread it because I didn't fully appreciate it at the time. But I particularly like the essay that on poetry is not a luxury, and the importance of language and literature in the world, and how that furthers self-expression. And this, I think, will just be a really amazing autobiography, because she was such an incredible person. She was a feminist, black, lesbian woman who just was her true self, and I think it's going to be very illuminating about her life, because I just don't really know much about her apart from her sexuality and that she was a feminist and she was a good writer. That's kind of it. So yeah. Then I have a short novel, because I had to get something Victorian in this month, and that is The Professor by Charlotte Bronte, because I haven't read this one, and apart from Shirley, this is the only other one, and I really don't want to be this the last one that I read, because I don't think it's going to be my favourite. I think it, you know, considering it was only published after she died and it was constantly rejected, it probably isn't her best, and it's her debut, so that's fine. But it was obviously born out of her obsession with her Belgian professor, and it inhabits a man's perspective, which is interesting because I think none of her other novels do that actually, and I think it's from the perspective of William Crimsworth. I want to call it Cricksworth, but no, it's William Crimsworth, and his, I suppose, like, toying very much between 2 women. I don't know much about it apart from that it's about a male professor and it's from his perspective, so I don't know if I like it as much as well, or being as invested in it because it's not from a woman's perspective. I don't know. I'll see, but it would just be so nice to read, and I have an aim that I want to finish reading all Bronte novels, so there's only 2 left. I mean, come on. I would like to get to this, and then maybe I'll read Shirley in October. I'll see. But I'm just excited to read anything Bronte though, because even if it isn't, you know, even if it's not her best, it will still be good because it's the Brontes. Then I have a reread, and that is Small Island by Andrea Levy, because I'm going to see the play at the National on the 2nd of August, so I want to reread the book so I can have it fresh in my mind, because this is probably one of my favourite books ever, but I haven't read it since I was 17, so it's hard for me to say. So I just want to reread it again, and oh, I'm so excited. I probably will listen to an audiobook because Angie Levy actually narrates it, which would give me all kinds of feelings because sadly she's passed away from cancer. But I think it'd be wonderful to hear the Jamaican accent. That would add a lot to my experience of books if it has an accent that isn't just, you know, kind of straight English. This is a novel that deals with the Windrush generation primarily, but it does go backwards and forwards in time quite a lot. So you have 4 couples who each give their perspective on different things. So you have Gilbert and Hortense, who are a Jamaican couple who come over in the Windrush, and then you also have Queenie and her husband Bernard, who you don't know where he is when they come to England, and he's been missing from the Second World War. So it deals with Hortense and Gilbert's journey of how they got married, how they came over there, what it was like living in Jamaica before they travelled to England. Also Gilbert's time in the war, which is really a wonderful demonstration of how Britain used the Empire as subjects when it was convenient for them, but then how much we really mistreated them once the war was over. And also just Queenie's unhappiness in her marriage with Bernard and her courtship with him, and again the war period. There's so much in this novel. It's so rich, and it's also, I think, the best written novel in terms of having different perspectives, because each narrative voice is so clear and so separate and so fully developed. I love this book so much. Can you tell I'm excited? I can't wait to read it. So yeah, I think that will enhance my love for the play when I see it, because I've heard great things about that as well. But I think if I've read it and then I see it on stage, it's just going to make me 10 times more excited. So yes, out of all the books, this whole TBR, this is possibly the one I'm most excited to read, even though it's a reread. Then I have a book that was my birthday book haul, and that is The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. This is a book that I gave to my dad to read recently, and he loved it, even though he said it was sad, which I kind of expected considering the subject matter. So it's set in 1940s post-Depression Ohio, and it follows a poor black family, and I think it focuses on Pecola, who was a girl who every night prays for blue eyes because she associates it with white privilege and the people that are in a better financial and just general position in life than her. So I can see how this is going to be a little bit heartbreaking, but I've never read anything by Toni Morrison before. This is her debut, I believe, so I'm really excited to read this. I think it's going to be a quick read, but just possibly one of those life-changing books that makes you see the world differently afterwards. I'm so excited. I mean, obviously I am about all these books because I picked them to read, but yes. Then I have a book that I'm reading because I'm reading Small Island. It's a good pair, I think, and that is The Lonely Londoners by Sam Selvon, because this also deals with the Windrush generation. I think it focuses on male characters specifically, but it's set in London during that time period, so it's kind of 1950s. And this is a book that I thought was non-fiction at first, but we decided to find out it's actually a novel. And it's just, I think, about how you deal with alienation in a new city that is so overwhelming and not necessarily welcoming to you. So I think it's also about finding friendship. I don't know, but I can tell you later once I've read it, but it's going to be good. I can feel it. Then I have another book that's my 5-star TBR prediction, and that is Tin Man. So, by Sarah Woodman, I should say, and it follows a friendship between Michael and Ellis, and how that changes when they meet a girl called Annie, and I think there's some kind of unrequited love here, maybe like homosexual/bisexual love, but I don't know. I think it's a lot about what's left unsaid in friendships and how that affects the course of your lives, and about small decisions having a big impact. But almost everyone's loved this, so this will be nice. I deliberately picked relatively short books this month because I have so much to do, so hopefully that will make me more encouraged to get to them, but I would like to get to this month, and here's hoping it will happen. And then another book, so my 5-star TBR prediction is A Single Man, which I really wanted to read last month because it was Pride Month, but I just couldn't quite fit it in because it's by Christopher Isherwood, again, Jenny, come on, basic information here, and it is about a man mourning his lover who has died suddenly, and it again sounds heartbreaking in very different ways to Bluest Eye, obviously, but it's just gonna be great. I can feel it. And then a book which should not be on my TBR, you guys. I'm sorry. I failed so hard. And I would love to tell you that I was super productive in other things, and I did with some things. But I am so behind at this point. It's scary. Yeah. I might make a video being honest about things like PhD, because a PhD is the kind of thing where a lot of people don't know much about what you're doing or care that much. So if someone asks you, how's it going, it's really easy to be vague and say, oh yeah, it's fine, or it's okay, or just give a very rough idea of what's wrong, but I am struggling. Yeah, so don't be surprised if I don't read as much this month, because I know I need to focus more on my PhD, and this just, it will get read, and I'm reading this thing, but I haven't made much progress on it, so I'm not putting it on my TBR, because any book I'm partway through I'm not going to put on my TBR, because I think that's kind of weird. But I'm excited for Jane Austen July. Not that that's important in any way, but it's nice, it's a comfort. That's the thing with Jane Austen, she is so reliably comforting to read, and you just know whatever book you're reading or rereading, whether it's the first or the 7th time, she's always going to make you feel happy and just make you feel things. I mean, not everything's happy in Jane Austen, obviously, and you really do get engrossed in the characters, but I think I need Jane Austen at this point in my life just to calm me down, because wow, I'm a hot mess, guys. And then last but not least, I'm sorry, I know this is a long one, but it is The Doll Factory by Elizabeth McNeil, and isn't that a gorgeous cover? And look, I mean, I've already shown this, but I'm going to show you again. Look at those end papers. Wow. Sorry, I have such a thing for end papers, I really appreciate that. But this is set in London, 1850. Ding ding ding, very exciting already. And then it also focuses on pre-Raphael art, which is wonderful because I love that. And it follows Iris, who meets briefly this man called Silas, who is a strange collector of things that are beautiful. And it sounds a bit macabre, but I've heard there are wombats in this, and if that's true, that is very exciting. How many times have we used the word exciting? If that was a drinking game, I think you would be pretty pissed by this point. Anyway, I'm excited to read this because Victorian pre-Raphaelite London, I mean, come on. And wombats! Hopefully. Listen, if there aren't wombats, I'm going to be mad. But I have heard on good authority from Eric from Those Who Read It that there are wombats, so I trust it. That's basically enough to sell me on this. Wombats are underrated. I know that is a long TBR once again, I promise. I tried to cut it down. I even took one book out and thought, oh yeah, I'm not really feeling that one. What a difference. But one day I'll manage to actually have a short TBR that's actually achievable to read. Have you read any of these books, / what do you want to read this month? I would love to know. I hope you have an excellent July and reading month, and I'll see you soon for more Bookish Shenanigans. Bye!